Welcome to Outside the Ring. I am here with my guest, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Prodigy Prince.
How you doing, man?
I am doing great, Mav. How are you doing today, brother?
I am doing well. Thanks for asking.
All right. I've never been here before, so how do things typically go here?
So, what got you into this world of wrestling?
Well, I was I the first memories I have are wrestling.
Mhm,
So like I just remember watching a lot of Raw and SmackDown as a kid on TV, and that was just my comfort thing. So
mhm,
as I got older, I just got more comfortable competing. I started amateur wrestling at around 13 years old, and then from amateur, I just threw myself straight into trying to learn professional wrestling by joining All Star Lucha Academy.
mhm. Who were some of your favorites to watch growing up?
My personal favorites were AJ Styles, Kenny Omega. He was always really good. Tyler Black, now Seth Rollins, um, Rob Van Dam. I could go back and also say Jeff Hardy was one of my first favorites to watch before all of those guys. I'm
Hmm.
a real Tyson Kidd nerd. I don't know if you know Tyson Kidd very
I
well.
do.
Tyson, he was really good back in his like prime, and that was one of the guys who really inspired me. PJ Black was also really good.
Mhm.
I can just go on, man. I got a lot of favorites.
Yeah. Seeing, because I went back and looked at some of your posts, and one of the posts you put a picture of Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff is he's always been a big inspiration for me.
Mhm,
I really always thought that like his story was so inspirational, how he came back, after going through so much and he never gave up no matter what.
mhm,
So I always respected that about him. And one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time was Survivor Series 2008, where he was attacked by his brother outside his hotel room. So that was like
mhm,
just like something that threw me straight into loving wrestling was just seeing Jeff Hardy in his prime.
mhm. And then going from Survivor Series to Armageddon.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
Armageddon. And that was oh, I have Survivor Series '08 on DVD, so I would always see the Armageddon trailer, and I was like, I
Mhm,
gotta get that DVD. But by then, the network was coming out because, well, you know,
mhm. Um, Speaking of Jeff Hardy, he's one of my favorites. The first match I saw was like live. It was on YouTube from 2002 on Raw. Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker.
I've seen that match as well.
Ladder
That's a
match.
great one.
Hmm.
Jeff came so close to winning that too.
Yeah. Just all the emotion stuff behind anticipation and stuff like that.
Yeah. He was so young, and just
Hmm.
seeing a guy that young being put into situations like that, knowing that that was their intention, they were trying to push Jeff Hardy into being a superstar. It gives me the kind of motivation and the inspiration to get better. And now I've kind of grown into my own branding, but also like taking quite a bit of inspiration from Jeff and not trying to be like him, but trying to be my own guy.
Yeah.
I hear he's gonna be on your podcast pretty soon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually had the pleasure of meeting him Bound for Glory when they were up in Detroit.
That's really dope, man.
Hmm.
The Hardy Boys are your favorite tag team as well?
Yeah.
Oh man, my favorite is Violence is Forever, Kevin Ku and Dominic Greeny. Really, those guys are amazing. If I could work with any tag team, like ever, like it'd be Violence is Forever. I really think that like when it comes to like top 10 tag teams of all time, they're on that list.
Hmm. How long have you been wrestling for?
I started wrestling around last year. So I did amateur and then I started my professional training in around November of last year. So
Mhm.
I've only been wrestling for probably about like 3 or 4 months now. I've been refereeing just about that same amount of time as well.
Yeah. Did you start in the business reffing?
Um, no, I actually started as ring crew, working for a guy named Merle. Uh, we were putting the ring together for Major League Wrestling, and I started for Major League Wrestling as a ring crew for them. The thing with Merle came after as a result of Major League Wrestling, where I just started pretty much going around helping them put that ring together, and I've become really, really like acquainted with those wooden planks and steel beams, man. I put that ring together maybe like 20, 30 times already.
Hmm.
But the Major League Pro Wrestling thing was super dope, man. That was like really the first thing I ever did.
Yeah. How did you come up with the name the Prodigy Prince?
Prince is like it's just stuck. It was one of those nicknames I threw at the wall one day just thinking of like some cool shit.
Hmm.
And it was like Prince, and I was like, yeah, that's it. And then the Prodigy thing just came from Javon Evans. I wanted to be a lot like Javon Evans, not in his wrestling style, but just like the trajectory that his career took going up really fast. And I'm not trying to name drop people here. I'm just, just shouting out some of the guys who inspired me.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much where the Prodigy thing came from. Just watching NXT and Deadlock and seeing Javon Evans become a freaking prodigy, man.
Yeah. Um, do you have any favorite moments or matches from your career?
I took a power driver for my boy Rafael Quintera, and that was really fun. That was like that was like a safe bump. That was super duper safe. Um, I gotta say another one. Most of my events, like where I feel like those are my favorites, were at UCG. Um, So the other one would be my situation with Lee Metallic, the rivalry that we've got building there. Lee, watch your fucking back, bro. I'm coming for you. You can try to hit me with that kendo stick. I guarantee you, you try that again, it won't go your way, brother.
Different result.
Yeah.
Um, the thing with power drivers, they can be risky
Oh, yeah.
spots. Going back with Owen, or looking back to Owen Hart and Stone Cold in their
Yeah.
power driver spot.
I am. I'm really inspired by the Hart family. A lot of
Hmm.
things. Like I really grew up kind of like watching, like I said, Tyson Kidd.
Hmm.
But as a result of watching like Teddy Hart and Tyson Kidd, and like it made me go back and watch the Davy Boy Smiths and the Dynamite Kids, and the Owens and the Bretts and the Jim Nides and Brian Pillman, and like it made me go back and watch 90s era, you know.
Hmm.
Sorry about that, brother. Hart Foundation. So um Owen is like someone else who I like also like really looked back on his career and took a little bit of like let me learn from this, you
Yeah.
know? And definitely seeing stuff that WWE put him through, well, the WWF at the time put him through in the 90s made me kind of cautious coming into my career. So it was like a split second decision that we made right there on the spot in the ring where Roth was like, "You want to take power driver?" I was like, hell yeah. So he just pulled me in and dropped me immediately. The crowd popped for it. It was great. And, he was super safe with me. Quintero he's a boss, man. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Shout out to Raph.
You said you went back to watch like 90s stuff and the Hearts. 90s plus Bret Hart equals Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah, man. You're
Yeah.
totally correct about that. I'm such a geek that I made a wrestling league on 2K24 just to like fix the screw job
Yeah.
and fix Owen's death because like it actually really it's really depressing, man. It really affected wrestling, dude. And if all of the 90s were fixed in the way they treated the hearts, like I feel
Mhm.
like wrestling would have turned out so much different. And
Mhm.
I just wanted to see what it'd be like. So I've been simulating that. And dude, I am such a nerd. Like I guarantee you, man, if you've seen my wrestling league, I've been doing this for like 3 games straight. So I started in 23 and it's now we're going into 20, what,
5.
25?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to remake all the characters that I have now, and
Yeah.
I'm going to do it all over again in the next game, man. I
Mhm. What console you playing on?
play on PlayStation 5. I just recently got it.
Nerd.
I'm using the headphones now that go to it.
Mega nerd.
So you're an Xbox guy, I'm guessing, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Shut up.
My brothers are Xbox guys, and they never let me live that down.
You're the odd one out.
My dad even had an Xbox growing up.
Yeah, so did mine. And that's probably whole way I got into it with this Xbox cycle.
The crazy thing is, like, my mom got my PlayStation. So I, like, me being the only kid with the Xbox was like on purpose, because, well, my cousin played Xbox and he was the only person who would play with me. So what do I
Mhm.
need to, what do I need to, wait, did I say Xbox?
Yeah.
Cousin played PlayStation. He was the only one who would play with me. So why would I need an Xbox?
Getting Xbox or PlayStation, you're fumbling.
Our servers were down recently. I'm
I saw that.
almost through things. There's a hole in my wall now.
Oh, no.
No, I'm joking. It was already there.
Hmm. Yeah, someone, a wrestler I know is on Xbox and he took onto Facebook and his Instagram where I can put a note, PlayStation servers down, can't relate. Just laughed. Nerd.
Man, I was going through it for about 14 hours straight. I got out of school, got home, turned on my PlayStation, nothing. I said, screw this, I'm going to sleep. Woke up the next day, nothing. They didn't turn on till maybe around 4, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, who are some of your favorite wrestlers other than Jeff Hardy, obviously?
Got throwing Jeff, got throwing Taker. Taker and Jeff are have always been up there and will always be up there. Let's see. Edge, Cope, whatever you know him as. Let's see. Johnny Gargano, Champa, Tommaso Ciampa,
Ah, yeah, the NXT boys.
yeah, DIY. Current SmackDown tag champs. Just had a match with DI or
MCMG.
yeah, Royal Rumble.
Yeah, man. For most people, they were watching WWE and their tag guys were Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel. My tag guys were Alex Shelley and Saban, okay? I was watching TNA way more, and I was watching Impact way more than I was watching WWE.
Mm,
As like a little kid, I felt like I was more attached to Impact because that's around my childhood. That's when Jeff Hardy was in TNA. That's when Magnus was in TNA. That's when Abyss was in TNA. So that was like most of the guys who like I looked at and I saw them as really cool. Like AJ Styles. Before AJ Styles went to Japan, AJ Styles was like my John Cena. And then when he went to Japan, he brought me to watching guys like Kenny Omega and Fergal Devitt and like all of those
yeah.
guys. So he put me onto Japan as well.
I started out watching through the independent scene actually. Nothing professionally. Independent. I got introduced to it through a friend of my dad's and I invited us to watch it independently. And then I went on YouTube and found out or that Jeff Hardy Undertaker match popped up and recommended.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
you were the generation inspired by a YouTube wrestling match.
It was during the pandemic too. Everything on
Oh,
lockdown.
you got to go to like indie shows during the pandemic, dude.
Not during the pandemic. That's when I found out about WWE.
Okay. So like right before the pandemic is when you got into professional wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's really
And
cool, yeah.
went to my first pro wrestling show. It was actually SummerSlam 23.
Okay. Ah, yeah, the one in Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was a really good one too. I actually really like that one. I feel like when it comes to SummerSlam, Triple H is cooking with the Big Four pay-per-views all the
Yeah.
time. Like SummerSlam's doing hot, Royal Rumble's always hot. He's
Hmm.
always got Survivor Series and Mania hot, and those are the big four to me.
Yeah.
Huh. Speaking of four, have you seen what's going on in Major League Wrestling?
No.
The new stable with Bobby Fish, they got BRG and the Andersons. Major League Wrestling is amazing right now.
Yeah. Um, and once I ended up, shut up.
You don't watch MLW?
No, not really.
Oh man, you gotta watch some MLW,
Yeah.
dude. Matt Riddle as world champion in MLW is so good, man. So good.
Um, I mainly started watching WWE, and then that's when I found out more about like AEW. I knew about like TNA Impact, but I wasn't like watching it like that, like whole lot. I would see clips and stuff.
Yeah. It was hard to watch TNA during the pandemic era. Not because of, like the quality of the wrestling, but because their TV deal and all that.
Mhm. Let's see. And going back, talking about Undertaker, synonymous with his streak, that WrestleMania streak, where he ended up, Brock Lesnar had to end it.
So I was under the like belief, especially after seeing Bray Wyatt earlier in the night, I felt like Bray Wyatt should have been the guy to end that streak at 31 instead of Brock doing it at 30.
There, yeah, many people didn't, because Brock already built up a name for himself.
I could understand why Brock did deserve that because it's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But realistically, I feel like passing the torch in wrestling makes more sense than going for realism.
Hmm.
And Bray Wyatt over years, even after the whole you know, Wyatt family thing going into his Eater of World gimmicks, he always, kept it really entertaining and he always was someone to watch out for. And I felt like he deserved more opportunities before his untimely passing. So rest in peace to Wyndham Rotunda.
Hmm. And there's many, I don't want to say debates, but there's many people saying that he should have retired with his undefeated streak intact.
I think what's more important in wrestling than a legacy is putting over the next generation. So I guess you could say that, yeah, that's something that Taker had earned over
Hmm.
his years and years of hard work. But also you could say that we earn the right to pass that torch. And I felt like Taker would have said that exact same thing, considering guys before him did the exact same passing the torch to him when he was becoming into his own.
Yeah. And I've seen many clips and stuff that there was original talks of it ending at, I believe it was 24. Just whenever he fought Edge.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that match. Um,
And
it
he,
was, I believe, 2009, right?
uh, s- no, I'll say it was
7 or 8, right?
2007. So I believe that he won the Rumble in seven. I believe he went for Edge because it was, we either got Cena versus Shawn or Cena versus Triple H. That same Mania.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah. My bad. I got a little bit mixed up there. It's because I can remember the whole going back and forth with Sean and Triple H thing,
Hmm.
but I also kind of get the themes of the Manias mixed up
Yeah.
because they were going for some really big themes there.
Yeah, it was 24, same night Ric Flair retired.
Yep. I just remember someone like you know how they micro the whole pay-per-view into a TikTok? Have you seen those?
Yeah.
That is amazing. I don't know how they do that, but it's so cool. And they also always make sure to get all the best spots.
Hmm.
And I love watching those
Hmm. I still go back and watch stuff from the 2000s and 90s.
as well, man. It's hard not to watch like
Hmm.
wrestling from back then. It's like I get so inspired by like watching old ECW that it kind of makes me want to become a better wrestler myself. Like, and it's not like, watching like the hardcore wrestling mostly. Guys like Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero in ECW were amazing. The television division was so good.
Hmm. Talking about Eddie Guerrero, he is up there for me. Viva la Raza.
That's not really.
And seeing so many people inspired by him.
Yeah. And you know what's also like kind of crazy to me is like he did have a lot of time on well the Mexican indies. I wouldn't I wouldn't call it the Mexican indies. I'd say it's the lucha scene, to be honest. He didn't have
Mhm.
much time really there because once he got like out of Mexico, he kind of immediately went into working for the bigger companies in America, which I'm kind of glad that we got to see more of his wrestling. I just feel like there's so many other stars that he could have worked with in Mexico. Like I wanted to see a lot more like of him working with guys like La Parca in Mexico and stuff like that because Tripla and CMLL really could have benefited from a star like Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. And there were reports that I believe it was the day of his death. He was supposed to go out and wrestle for the world heavyweight title, and he was going to win it to give, I think Batista was holding it at the time, just give Batista time to recover.
I had it was like a kind of I have this DVD of No Mercy 2005
Mhm.
where he took on Batista. And that was like one of that was how I got attached to wrestlers, like, that weren't wrestling while I was alive. And I got to watch most of the 2000s through watching the DVDs while I was watching like 2012, 2013
Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown because I would have these DVDs from like the indies, like
Hmm.
I mean, not the indies. I would have these DVDs. Well, I did have Ring of Honor DVDs.
Yeah.
Um, but I had like these 2000s pay-per-views that like I loved watching so much because this was before the network. The network wasn't even like if you wanted to watch wrestling, you had to find it on YouTube or you had to like have DVDs of like old pay-per-views. And I loved my DVDs, man. I had No Mercy 2005. I had No Mercy 2008. I had No Mercy 2007. Um, I had Survivor Series 2008. I had Survivor Series 2005. What else did I have? I got Armageddon 2008 eventually
Mhm.
uh, because I was like super upset that I couldn't see how Jeff won the world title. I wanted Jeff to win that championship so
Yeah.
bad at that pay-per-view, man.
hmm He had his moment with it too. And then it went from that to Jeff and Matt at Mania.
Hey, man, you know what? I want to complain about it, but I loved it. I
hmm
can't lie. I did love it.
Yeah.
It was a rough feud to like look back on,
Yeah.
considering everything he had been through, but I really did love watching, Jeff and Matt.
Yeah. And talking about going back to watch 2000 stuff, I recently watched SummerSlam '05 with Eddie versus Ray.
That feud was built very well
Mm,
all the way up and through like WrestleMania. And
hmm
I felt like they gave them the respect they deserved as competitors, even though they were smaller competitors, to build something so respectable.
absolutely.
Um, and it was amazing.
hmm Is there anyone you would want to eventually have a match with?
Glad you asked this. Gabriel Kidd. I really want to wrestle Gabe Kidd. I know he's stiff. I'm ready for it. I don't care. I'll wrestle Gabe Kidd for the leader of the Bullet Club. I will wrestle Gabe Kidd for leadership over the Bullet Club if I have to. I don't care if I have to wrestle David Finlay for leadership over the Bullet Club. I want to be the first black professional wrestler to be the leader of the Bullet Club, and I want to do it for Chris Bay. And that's because I have so much respect for him. And I felt like if Chris Bay gets the opportunity to, he could make it happen. Except I want to do it first.
Mm.
And there's also a couple other guys who are up there that don't have anything to do with the Bullet Club. But I gotta say, there's Javon Evans, there's Carmelo Hayes. I definitely do really, really want to wrestle Minoru Suzuki. I gotta wrestle Kenta. Um, yeah, yeah. Sounds really like it's questionable, right? Dijak, Rafael Quintera. Um, who else, man? I'm thinking guys that I really want to wrestle. LDLC, Jack Valor, Davina Thorne, Trent Regley, Aaron Ashura. Who else? Myron Reed for sure.
Mm.
Alex Kane, Matt Riddle. I got a list, man. I got a list of guys, and if your name's on my list, then you better protect your neck.
Talking about Chris Bay, you see that he put a post up?
Oh yeah, man.
Mm.
Love to see it. I'm rooting for that guy every single day.
Yeah.
Him and Ace Austin they're my TNA guys when it comes to tag. Also the Rascals, but like Ace Austin and Chris Bay are freaking amazing,
Yeah.
brother.
I remember I found out the news of him like hurting his neck or whatnot. I
He
believe it
was
was,
he was trying to be very private about it, right?
mhm. I believe it was, I found out about it. I want to say either the day of or the day after my surgery. Because I know it happened during the 20, October 27th.
And
And
how are you doing though?
doing well.
That's great, man. I'm glad you both are recovering so well, so fast,
hmm
man. My hopes are out there to Chris Bay, man. Like I'm really hoping that he's able to make a fast recovery. That all happened so suddenly, and
hmm
I remember just watching him take on the Rascals and the Hardys a couple months ago, and then this like just suddenly happening. And I'm like, whoa. And it just reminds you how quickly injuries can happen. It also happened to my close friend Victor Nestra. I hope he's recovering very well. I seen that he's got, oops, my headphones are dying. Sorry. I seen that he's got some wrestling videos up of him making his first in-ring action since his injury, and I just wanted to give my friend a quick shout out there. Sorry, trying to plug things up here.
Who would you say is a tough opponent or one of your toughest?
Lee Metallic, and when I get my hands on you, Lee Metallic, when I get my hands on you, Lee Metallic. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I'm not gonna cut a whole promo on this guy. He doesn't deserve a whole promo. He cheap shotted me at UCG last month, and then he tried to swing a kendo stick at me. All I was doing was my job. All I was doing was officiating. And you're a sore winner and a sore loser, Lee Metallic. You weren't even in that match. You robbed those boys of that perfectly good opportunity to make a name for themselves in Magoo's Bar. And you did that with conviction. And they gave you a match after that. And so you attacked the ref. Who do you think you are, Lee Metallic? Really, who do you think you are? I'm sorry about that, brother.
It's all good. Going back to you saying you want a match with Dijak or someone you want to face.
Yeah.
I had him on here.
I was at a MLW show with him a number of months ago. He gave me some really great advice. He
Yeah.
uh He told me straight up, he looked at all of us, me, Aaron Ashura, Zay, and some other kids, and he told us, he said, the thing that makes you stand out is not how expensive your gear is if your gear makes you feel like a superstar. So if you come out there in gear that makes you confident and that makes you feel like a superstar, you're going to project that idea onto the audience and they're going to look at you like a superstar. He's also really tall.
I believe our interview was probably a month or two or a couple months before he signed with MLW. And
Yeah,
then
man, the
seeing that
disruptor.
he got signed. What?
He is the disruptor. He is just so freaking huge. Like,
Mhm.
dude, like Dijak is two of me. I mean, like, he was standing, taking off his wrist tape, giving us this advice, and I'm looking up, I'm like, yeah, yeah, Mr. Dajakovic. Yeah.
Dijak's also one that's up there for me. I like seeing his work in WWE.
Yeah, his NXT work was amazing.
Hmm. Retribution. So
Yeah. I feel like they gave Dijak really his own like time to shine in NXT towards the end of his run. So
mhm.
like him getting as close as he got to the NXT championship, he should have won it, and he was a really good contender to win the Iron Survivor Challenge.
Mhm.
Something else I want to win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have for you. Anything you want to say to anybody or towards that
Um,
wrap off?
I just want to give a shout out to my other friend, Davina Thorne. I feel like I need you to get into contact with her immediately, dude. You got to get her on this show. You have an amazing show here, man, in the Outside the Ring podcast. And you are an amazing host, Mav, bro. So thank you so much for having me on here, man. So
Ooh.
um I just really want to shout out some friends of mine like Rafael Quintero, like I said. You got to get Davina Thorne, man. Like, just you got to expand into Chicago Indies. Come down here, come to UCG, and let us show you a great time at Magoo's, brother. The 28th. What do you think, Mad Mav? You come to UCG with us?
Never say never. That's all I gotta
Never
say.
say never. Hey man, if you're not busy, dude, we'd love to have you down here. And thank you so much for having me on your show, buddy.
Absolutely. You have a good one.
You too, brother.